Council regular meeting. Today is March the 2nd, and the time is 7:15. So I'm not certain if Pastor Jackson is here. I don't see him here. Oh, Pastor Flores, if you could lead us in an invocation, I'd appreciate that. Where is he? Thank you very much. I will ask all those that are able to stand to please do so at this time. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the privilege. Let's pray. Our gracious God, we thank you for the privilege you've given us to serve and to fulfill our duty, Lord, to our city, Lord, and to the people which you have surrounded us with. Lord, we just ask for your guidance, your wisdom to fill us. Help us to always see the purpose of why we gather. Lord, let that be the invisible leader of this gathering. Lord, we thank you for the joy, Lord, that comes in living in this city. We also recognize the challenges that the city faces, Lord. We thank you for those who give their time and their service, that we might be a better people and a better community. We want to honor you in all that we do. In Christ Jesus' wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Please face the flag. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to, first of all, thank everyone that's here tonight. Just kind of read something that we have for the, probably should have been enforced before. Would like to remind the public that there are rules for the public communication. One, only address the city council as a whole, and not as an individual council members. Two, no personal attacks and no defamatory statements. Three, can only talk about the issues with the city's jurisdiction. And four, limit comments to 3 minutes. Just a reminder is there to be able to kind of address some of the issues that have been by individuals that come here and simply just falsely accuse council members of various types of things that have no validity whatsoever. So just a reminder to the general public. At this point, I want to close on behalf of Mary Ferrer, personal friend, and just about knows a lot of people, or many people in Baldwin Park. Our most heartfelt condolences are extended to Javier Ferrer, instructional assistant in special education, on the loss of his mother, Mary Lopez Ferrer, former Pleasant View Elementary School community liaison, who passed away on Saturday, the 27th of this year. Ms. Ferrer began her career in Baldwin Park Unified School District as an instructional aide, bilingual, in 1989. And became an English language program assistant in 1990 and the school community liaison at Pleasant View Elementary School from 1991 through her retirement in June of 2010. She was very well known and respected throughout the Baldwin Park community. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family and friends during the difficult time of sorrow. So on behalf of the City of Baldwin Park, to all her children and her great grandchildren as well, our deepest condolences goes out to her. The rosary for those interested will be at St. John's this coming Monday at 10 a.m. So our condolences goes out to Mayor Ferrer. Anyone else wishing to close on any?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to close on behalf of our president of the school board, Christina Lucero's son-in-law, who's also a police officer, who passed last Friday, and so I want to close on his behalf. I'm sorry, I don't have his full name, so I don't want to misstate it, but let's find out. And, of course, he was married to Melissa Swells, who happens to be, that's Mr. Swells, Officer Swells, who happens to be her daughter. So we'd like to send our condolences to the family. And Ms. Lucero, again, president of the Baldwin Park Unified School District, thank you.
Mayor, I'd also like to close on behalf of Mr. Eddie Murillo. Eddie Murillo and his family are longtime residents, going back to when my grandparents first came to Baldwin Park. He attended Margaret Heath with my father in 1931 and attended the Baldwin Park schools as well. He was 90, and he passed away a few days ago. Also, Carmen Gutierrez, a longtime resident of Baldwin Park. Her son is a Vietnam vet and also attended Baldwin Park High School and the schools in Baldwin Park, and she passed away this past Monday.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Condolences goes out to them. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes.
I would like to also close in memory of Fausto Carvajal, which is my dad. In 2 days, he will have his first anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you. Our condolences. All righty. Anyone else? If not, at this point, I'm going to have a roll call.
Mayor,
Yes.
let me go ahead
Councilmember
and
Monica,
close on
Vice Mayor.
behalf of my uncle who passed away of cancer, Joe
that's right.
Villarreal. He lives in El Paso, Texas, along with my family, but visited Baldwin Park many times, and really enjoyed our summer concerts and the activities around town. So, wanted to make that, record that in our documents. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I had an opportunity to meet him and the family. Thank you very much. All right. So at this point, council members wishing to close on anyone else? If not, real quick, the banner that's above here, both Helen and I had an opportunity. We were invited to the actual executive house, which is right next to the White House, on behalf, actually, by the First Lady, which reads, join Let's Move to build a healthy community and receive national recognition for your efforts. So we were fortunate enough. There was total, I believe, just 20 cities were invited, and Baldwin Park was one of them. So just want to let everyone know. So we're excited about that, and we make sure that we continue to promote good health throughout the community. All right. At this point, we'll now have. Let me see. Yeah, go ahead and roll call.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos y bienvenidos. Councilmember Cruz Baca. Here. Councilmember Susan Rubio.
Present.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Manuel Lozano.
Present. Thank you very much. All righty. Just want to let everyone know that we do have a presentation that will be actually conducted by Mr. Streetzak. Not certain if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the presentation of POST, Peace Officers Standards and Training, Executive Certificate by Mr. Robert Streetzak, Executive Director for California Post in Sacramento. So at this point, we're going to, you want the gentleman here? Oh, we could come up to the lectern, and this will be to present it to Chief Taylor, his bio, which reads, Chief Taylor was hired on as a police officer in 1981 and has worked in the area of patrol, narcotics, and detectives. He has been a member of the Baldwin Park Police Department for over 34 years and has promoted through the rank of sergeant, lieutenant, and captain. He was appointed to police chief by the city council on December 10th, 2013. Chief Taylor is a graduate of the FBI National Academy, holds a bachelor's degree in political science and a master's degree in political science, national security studies, and a doctorate in educational leadership. So at this point, Dr. Chief, Dr. Sorry about that. Wait, a doctor as well. All right. Yes, go ahead and introduce yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and council members and esteemed guests. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to present this. As you've stated, on behalf of the California Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training, I'm here to present your chief with his Executive Development Certificate. Often I have the opportunity to present these to chiefs who sit at meetings among chiefs, but my preference is, when the opportunity presents itself, to seek this time to recognize your chief in front of the council and the community that the chief serves. A couple words about POST very quickly. POST was established by law in 1959 to establish selection and training standards for California peace officers. It was the first in the nation to do so. The Commission serves about 600 law enforcement agencies, including 352 chiefs, 58 sheriffs, 58 district attorneys, California Highway Patrol, and many, many other law enforcement organizations. We address the training needs of 90,000 police officers. We have a menu of over 4,000 training courses. We address training needs of 5,000 reserves and 8,000 public safety dispatchers. Essentially, one of our prime duties is to go around and audit law enforcement agencies in the state of California to make sure they comply with training needs. The certificate I'm about to present is the culmination of a series of certificates that the Commission presents, beginning with the basic certificate. When you complete the academy and the field training officer program, you earn your basic certificate. Then there's an advanced and a supervisory and a management and investigative, and ultimately this executive certificate. I'd like to make a couple points about this certificate. Point number one is this executive certificate has been issued for about 50 years through the Commission on Post, and over 50 years, we've only issued about 1,500 of them. So this is no small accomplishment. Point number two, for every 1,000 applicants to be a peace officer in the state of California, only about 100 candidates make it to the academy. Out of the 100 that make it to an academy, only about 90 graduate, and of the 90 that go out to the field training officer program, only about 80 complete it successfully. So for 1,000 candidates, yields about 80 officers. And if you translate into that, how many fewer become executive officers, it's a significant small percentage and a significant accomplishment. And last comment about this certificate is that it is a juggling act for your chief, is that while he was away earning the certificate, the faucet was running. You all know it well. He was trying to meet city needs and organizational needs and family needs at the same time. So with those points, points made, I'd like to call the chief forward, please.
All right, Chief.
Chief, it gives me honor to present this certificate to you. It reflects your commitment to lead by example. It reflects your commitment to the community you serve, and it reflects your commitment to California law enforcement and the professionalism of California law enforcement. Congratulations.
Wow. We should probably get a picture up here.
Thank you, sir. Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve as your chief for the city of Baldwin Park. I've grown up here my entire adult life, starting from '81. As you know, me and the mayor have a common thing this year. It's our birthday. And we both were born in 1958, so we both turned 58 this year.
He kept his hair.
I did. I've actually been in law enforcement. This is my 36th year. I started in 1980 in another city and came here, luckily, in 1981. I've been here ever since. I just want to say I'm humbled. It's a great honor. And it's been a heck of a ride. Thank you very much.
Come on, Mike. Right. Well, let's get a picture up here. Mrs. Zach, come on up here. We'll get a picture with everyone. Oh. Oh yeah. Sure. Just focus on. All right, before I go on, I just want to real quick also announce that we have Mark Shenfield, who's a major Dallas Cowboy fan. And if you don't know him, he's featured throughout Texas and various places throughout the United States. And I know that you're in a contest. Want to come up here real quick, Mark? And let's just talk about it real quick in the presentation. So let's give him a great hand. So I thought you were going to come down here dressed in your Dallas Cowboy. Talk to us about the program and see if we can get online.
I'm a long life resident from Baldwin Park. I graduated from Baldwin Park High School in 1981. I'm proud to be a Brave. Once a Brave, always a Brave. I'll take it to my grave. I'm currently taking care of a very sick mother of mine, which is operating off of 4% lungs. God's not ready for her. He has no place for her, so I am glad that she's still with me, Mayor and the council.
Absolutely.
I'm able to go to every single Dallas Cowboys game. Jerry Jones gets me on in the field. I am a proud diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. I won't take off my shirt because I don't want you ladies, you know. But anyways, I am all tatted up with all the Hall of Famers Dallas Cowboys. I am a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, and I live Dallas Cowboy fan. I don't drink. I don't do no drugs. I just take care of my mom and my Cowboys. I believe it's God first, my mom's second, my Cowboys are third. I always say that God can give it to you, and He can take it right back. I had no idea what was going on until I got a phone call last week from the NFL. I was shocked. They said, Tattoo Mike Shenfield, you have been nominated for Fan of the Year Award, which will be held at LA Live on July 15th, 2016. It's an honor. If I don't win it, I'm just honored to be nominated. Not too many people even get that. That's why when I go to these vendors and events, I don't drink. I don't act stupid because I was born and raised in a law enforcement family. My dad was a police officer, a retired police captain from Alhambra Police Department for 37 years. God bless your soul, Dad. And he raised me the right way, and I'm going to continue to do this. So I want to tell all you law enforcement, please protect yourself, be loyal, be nice, but you know what? Do your job right. You guys have a job out to do it right. I represented the fire department for the past 2 years. I just recently got myself a rider helmet online. I'm going to pay the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to represent the law enforcement, all law enforcement for the next 2 years. It's my way of saying thank you for your services. I appreciate it. And God, please be safe and be careful out there. We need you guys. Without you guys, there's supposed to be chaos. Mayor, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So real quick, just to explain, so how are people, I'm going to see if we could place it on our website.
Okay.
How does it work?
If you want to vote for me, which I would really appreciate it, it's very simple. You can go to whatafan.com and you'll see my name, Tattoo Mark Shenfield. Click on the picture and make a comment because 75% of the voting is on the comments. And whatever you guys can do for me would be great because I want to bring this trophy home. It's a Maribel trophy, a diamond ring, and $4,000. The money I'm going to donate to City of Hope, Little League, all about it because I don't need the money. People else needs it. And I want to bring this trophy home to Baldwin Park. I really do. Because let me tell you, this is once in a lifetime. A lot of people don't get the opportunity. And I am very blessed. And I want to thank you all for doing it. Whatever else you can do for me, I would really appreciate it.
Mark, real quick, so is it the amount of votes that you would get? Is that how it works?
They go on the comments. The comments are like votes.
Okay.
And you guys can just speak your mind. What you guys think about me? I mean, that's fine. You know, I always tell people, if you hate me, that's fine. I'm not going to hate you back. I love people. And whatever you guys can do for me, I would really appreciate it. And Chief, congratulations. That's an honor. That's a big honor. It really is.
You know what? If you have not seen his tattoos, you can go online and see him because he's definitely tattooed up all the way.
as on the people behind me, you can see I got Jason Winton on my right calf here.
That's right.
And it's unbelievable. The artwork is very incredible.
And he's been in pictures, hundreds and hundreds of pictures.
I've been on TV, but that doesn't mean nothing to me. What means something to me is being able to give it back to the public. And that's what I'm here for.
All right, brother.
Thank you
very much. Say hi to your mom. All right, thank you.
I just want to add that Mark Schoenfeld is also an alumni of St. John's, and his father is a police officer. I believe was it Temple City or
no Alhambra.
Alhambra. So thanks a lot for being here, and I hope your mom is well and good. Congratulations. We'll help you get that fan nomination. We will do what we can for you.
We'll get
Thank
online.
You for being here.
All right. So at this point, let's see no further information. At this point, I'd like to open up the public communication. Anyone wishing to speak? You have approximately 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, City Council, residents of Baldwin Park, or wherever you may live. I come here hoping that we don't have to discuss things. But on number 8 on your agenda, you guys really love to mess with people's constitutional rights. Mayor, you keep telling me all the time, I don't know what I'm talking about. I can say this, I'd say this, and it's not correct. I throw things at you, show you city paperwork, and you say it's not true. How can people not stand up here and accuse you of things? Think about it. You're looking right at me, and I showed you those papers the last time, and you tell them that's not true. My God, what's the matter with you? You've been in office too long? I think so. Okay. You rest of the council, look at me. You see me here all the time. The city lawyer should know better than letting you people restrict our constitutional rights. Think about it. If you want to end up with a grand jury investigation, go ahead, laugh. Go ahead. It's all your privilege. But I tell you, you mess with people's constitutional rights, and you'll all be in trouble, including city attorney, the mayor, and everybody else. So when you guys took our 5 minutes to 3 minutes, you started that process. You know why? Because you don't like being here longer than you have to be. If we can be here 20 minutes and call it a city council meeting, we're done. I came here one time. If you guys were here 40 minutes, you were here too long. You ladies and gentlemen, you're not doing your job. Congratulations, Mr. Taylor. But the rest of you don't deserve any praise or anything. Some of you want to do good. The rest of you figure out, what can I not do? You're putting a mental hospital behind De Anza School.
Oh, they're feeding off of that.
Why don't you just tear the school down and build that as a mental hospital? That's what you're all doing. These people stand here. They voted you people in. They want the future to look better, but man, let me tell you, you're not trying to. But don't mess with our constitutional rights. You people know where you stand. The lawyer knows where he stands. And everybody in this country has a right to criticize anybody up there. And he may use his name because that's why you got name plaques up there. Why should I address the whole city council when 3 of you are doing wrong and the other 2 are trying to do right? So think about that. I know you're looking at me, you say, the guy don't know what he's talking about, but don't mess with our constitutional rights. The city lawyer knows that better than anybody else. The chief of police knows that. And he has to go out and do some pretty risky business sometimes. And he knows that he can't abuse people. He can't beat them up because they don't like him. That's part of his job. People don't like you sometimes because you don't act right. Think about it. And my job is to make sure that you try to stay in line, but boy, people just can't find more roads to go down to tear up our city.
You have
All right,
3
thank you
minutes.
very much.
Oh, by
Appreciate
the
that.
way, there's my 3 minutes.
Thank you. All right, let me take this over here.
I want to preface my words with, as long as I don't yell fire in a building, as long as I don't disrupt this meeting, and as long as I don't use profanity, I will say what I want. Good evening. Ken Woods. I'm a longtime businessman and resident of Baldwin Park, and proud of it. Councilwoman Garcia, do you really think it's necessary to spend $50,000 of our hard-earned money to find out the demographics of Baldwin Park? You claim to have a degree from USC. Let me tell you, any idiot, and even with my 11th grade education, can tell the demographics of Baldwin Park. You don't have to spend $50,000 to do it. Mayor, you know, about 2 years ago, I really thought that you and I were going to be on the same page. And we were both looking for things for Baldwin Park to do good. But then you started voting with Mr. Pacheco. Maybe it's just me, but when you cast those votes, I can hear I note that a note of doubt in your voice. Aren't you? You should boom that vote instead of just squeaking it out. And I know why. You really don't agree with it. Councilman Pacheco, whatever happened to that guy that used to come to our meetings at the pizza place where we discussed good things for Baldwin Park? You have since stepped off the political cliff into an abyss of slime and gunk. Your concerns now are your soccer buddies, your consultant cronies, and those all-important developers who pad your bank account. Of course, you'll say, well, all I'm saying is this is all political. And you're right. It is political. My politics do not line up with your politics at all. I request the general manager to disclose how much it's costing our city to have these 24 commissioners replaced. They were fired by Mr. Pacheco. And I have never been fired from a job in my life, and I am embarrassed. Thank you.
Yeah, I haven't been here for quite a while because of financial and health reasons. But it'll be a year tomorrow that the house burned and we were displaced. I've been looking very hard to get a place here in Baldwin Park. This is my home. I've lived here over 40 years. My kids went to school here. My daughter helped at the school board, and Mr. Chuckle knows that. And my grandkids went to school here up to a couple of years ago. And my son graduated from Baldwin Park High. So this is my home. I want to come back. And there is a house here in Baldwin Park that has been vacant for over 30 years. It's been boarded up. Yeah, a couple of days ago, I come to City Hall to code enforcement to find out about the house because I wanted to see if I could make a deal by renting it, cleaning it up, fixing it, because right now it looks like a dump. And I got told from code enforcement I can't get the owner's name and address where I could get a hold of him. He said it was a privacy problem. I says, okay. Then he says, then in the next words out of his mouth was, go to Hall of Records, you can get that information, or go to the tax assessor in San El Monte, and you can get the information. If I can go there, why can't I get it out of City Hall? It's public record on file. I would like to know who owns the house so I can try to find out if I can see it. Everybody knows where the house is, and everybody has driven by it, and it's been vacant, like I said, over 30 years. And it's on Merced and Ramona. And it's in the 3800 block just south of Ramona. I would love to try to get it. I'm willing to go in and clean it, paint it for some of the rent, and then start paying rent. Plus, I have called housing to see what was the qualification for first home buyers in this town. Nobody wants to call me. Nobody wants to talk to me. So is it that you guys don't want us back here? I mean, I lived here over 40-some years, and I lived in the house that burned and almost lost my life for 15 years. And the landlord don't care shit. Excuse my language, don't care. And we're fighting to make it in a motel, and we have to check out every 28 days. It's hard on us. But I would love to find the owner of that house. Maybe I can make a deal. I mean, hey, you always say you want the town, bring the value up in property. That's going down in property, and it's running the neighborhood down. So I would, like I said, I would like to see.
Ms. Mary, your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. What? Oh, okay. Yeah, Susan, if you could maybe meet up with her. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Moving on with public communication.
Also, Mayor, real fast,
Yes,
and I don't
yes,
mean to
that's
interrupt. I live like practically across the street. What's happening with that? The weeds are unbelievable, and it's
Bad.
all boarded up, and nothing's been done.
We might want to have
It's an
court
eyesore.
enforcement. Yeah, we'll have court enforcement visit the property. You have seen it. All right, moving along with public communication. You can come up here.
Mine, you don't have to time. Al Contreras,
Hey,
resident of
good
Baldwin
evening.
Park for about 50 years. I just want, before you approve consent calendar, and I'm not in a group, Mr. Mayor, okay?
yeah.
I'm independent. I represent me and the people I believe in, helping with the community. Hopefully, we can get a better explanation on your consent calendar, item number 8, a larger briefing from before you approve it, just a better explanation than just moving consent. Thank you very much.
right.
Have a great evening.
Thank you, Al. All right, moving on with public communication. Good evening.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members.
Good evening.
My name is Angie Macias Mendez, and I'm the Children Teen Librarian at the Baldwin Park Library. And on behalf of the Baldwin Park Library, I'm here with Amanda Serrato, who is our treasurer of our Friends of the Library, which you probably definitely know her. I'm just here to just present some of the events that we're having this month and also for April. We are having our teen advisory meeting and our Teen Tech Week on Thursday, March the 3rd, from 4 p.m. to 6 o'clock. And what we're doing there is the teens are going to join me with our iPad Learning Lab challenge. Teens will work together in teams with and challenge other teams to build the strongest structure and the fastest code completion. We're basically teaching the kids about coding, the teenagers about coding. And that is tomorrow, Thursday, March the 3rd. An upcoming event in 2 weeks for the children, we're having our Cesar Chavez celebration on Wednesday, March the 16th. That will be from 3 to 3:45. In honor of our civil rights leader, the library will be hosting a special celebration with a short retelling of his life and accomplishments. Afterwards, the children will be invited to participate in an art activity in honor of Cesar Chavez Day. Our friends of the library will be sponsoring that event. And for April, we are having our National Poetry Month. We're going to be doing a poetry celebration. So in honor of Poetry Month, the Baldwin Park Friends of the Library will be hosting a poetry celebration. You're invited to come and meet local poets, writers, and share your poems with them and the audience. Again, this will be a program sponsored by our Friends of the Library. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Angie mentioned the Friends of the Library many times. I would like to ask volunteers, because we need more volunteers to work with us to raise the funds so that we can sponsor such beautiful programs. And I invite you to come and visit with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, moving along with public communication. Hey, there's Terry Muse.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the community. My name is Terry Muse. I'm the president of the Baldwin Park Business Association, and I have a couple of my board members here with me tonight.
Good evening. I know I met some of you guys. My name is Tracy Aguirre. I'm the branch manager of the Wells Fargo here in Baldwin Park.
That's right.
And I'm George Silva. I manage the SE Federal Credit Union down the street, and I'm the vice chair of the Baldwin Park Business Association.
I was thinking it's kind of ironic. All three of us also live in Baldwin Park. So live here, work here. We love it.
Awesome.
We're here to invite everybody out tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. We're having a ribbon cutting grand opening for Marina's Boxing and Mixed Martial Arts. It's a brand new business on Main Avenue, a few doors north of the post office. So I'd love to have everybody out there to help welcome this business into town. Actually, the owner is a Baldwin Park resident. So we'd love to have a lot of support from all of you at 5 o'clock. There'll be light refreshments and a chance to, mingle. And then also, George is going to tell you about another upcoming event that we have.
One of the other events that we've been starting to have every other month is a very informal, very casual gathering for lunch. It's called Lunch with the Baldwin Park Bunch. And it's an opportunity for business folks and residents to get together and learn about each other's businesses or stories and so forth. This month, it's going to be March 22nd at La Fogata. I'm sure many of you know where that is. If not, it's right across the street from the In-N-Out there on Francisquito. So we please welcome you to join us on the 22nd. 11:45 is usually when it starts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, moving along with public communication.
I'd like to request a translator.
Translator? Sure, absolutely.
Estoy aquí hoy para pedir al concejal y alcalde que dejen en paz a nuestras escuelas, al menos que puedan proveer un plan detallado y específico que asegure que las escuelas de nuestros hijos estarán seguras. ¿Han considerado los factores de riesgo? ¿Se han considerado que en el evento de una lesión tanto el distrito como la ciudad pueden ser responsables? ¿Se han puesto a pensar que no sabemos quién va a usar los campos y que estas personas pueden dejar drogas ilegales o artículos ilegales en partes donde nuestros niños pueden encontrarlos?
You're going to have to stop because how are you going to translate?
I translated for her.
Okay, go on.
¿Cómo se preverá el vandalismo? Es buena idea el ofrecer fondos para la mejoración de nuestras escuelas, pero puede ser tan solo un gasto inútil si no han pensado en formas seguras de que nuestras escuelas no sean destruidas.
I am here today to ask the council and the mayor to leave our schools alone, unless you can provide a specific and detailed plan that ensures residents the schools their children attend will remain safe. Have you considered the risk factors? Has it been considered that in an event of injury, the district and city may be liable? Has it come into mind that we don't know who will be using our fields and that they may leave drugs or illegal paraphernalia behind where our children can find it? How will you prevent vandalism? It's great to try and offer funding for improvement, but it would be nothing more than a waste if you haven't thought of ways to ensure that our schools won't be destroyed.
En la junta anterior, ustedes hablaron de desarrollos comerciales y de cómo estos planes tienen el futuro de nuestra juventud en mente. Miembros del concejal dijeron que estos desarrollos fueron pensados considerando las artes, a los estudiantes y, por supuesto, los ingresos. Ustedes hablaron de traer tiendas comerciales, pero no de manera detallada. Y aunque los desarrollos avancen o no, me siento obligado a preguntar, ¿qué corporaciones piensan que beneficiarían a nuestra ciudad y a nuestras futuras generaciones? Déjenme asegurarle que sería una broma si estos desarrollos fueran hechos con pretensiones de tener una mejor ciudad y aún así albergar otro Walmart. Sería triste y irónico tener un desarrollo apoyado por corporaciones que estancan a nuestra gente, por corporaciones que tienen un récord de abuso de trabajadores y bajos salarios. Así que cuando hablan de acerca de desarrollos para la ciudad que son para el mejor interés de la gente, les pido al considerar no solo los números, pero sino la ética.
At the previous meeting, you spoke on developments and how these plans are with the future of our youth in mind. Members of the council stated these developments were thought out with consideration for the arts, students, and course of revenue. You spoke about bringing in retailers, but not in the detailed manner. And whether developments fall through or not, I feel compelled to ask, what retailers do you think would benefit our city and future generations? As a member of the younger and future generations, let me assure you that it would be nothing more than a joke if these developments were made with claims of leaving a better city behind for us, yet homed another Walmart. It would be said irony to have development supported by corporations that stagnate our economy, by corporations that have been known to disregard OSHA and federal given rights, corporations that hold a track record for overworking and underpaying our people. So when you talk about city developments that are for the best interest of the people, I ask you to consider not just numbers but ethics.
And with that, your 3 minutes are up.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, moving along with public communication. Anyone else wishing to speak?
John Rios, resident. One of the things that First Amendment gives you the right to talk and speak your mind, okay? Whatever amendment you're going to put into the books, it has to be approved by the state, okay? Over the couple of meetings, I would say for the past 4 meetings, you have called us names, called us liars. Everything that we bring is facts. Nothing is out of the original things, okay? The code of conduct, as Mr. Tofoya should know, is placed in any business, especially for city business. Officials that are being voted in, you know, those are the ones that really should follow the code of conduct. You shouldn't be up there calling people names, okay? But that's enough on that. Another thing, I got to talk about the police department. I still think that we don't have enough officers, enough cars on the streets. I found out that there's only, I think, 6 cars per shift, okay? Just today, in my area, we had 3 other cars in my area. The other 3 were supposed to take care of the rest of Baldwin Park. We need to hire some more officers and more cars. The way it is nowadays, our officers go out there and they're risking their lives. You see it all over Southern California, Arizona, any place. Police officers are targets now. There's no respect. So we have to put a little more effort on getting some more police department. You know, more units, more everything, you know. We're just dumping everything to a certain amount. I don't know if you guys are up to par right now, Chief? Are you up to 80-some officers? That's what I mean, you know. You guys need some more cars, more people. Take care of the residents. It happened in the 7-Eleven on Bass in the 99-cent store 2 days in a row. The gentleman went in there, pushed the clerk out of the way, grabbed some cigarettes and everything, and just walked out. They don't care. By the time the police department got there, it was probably 45 minutes. I don't blame them. We don't have the coverage. The following day, it happened again.
Mr. Rios, your 3 minutes.
My 3 minutes are.
All right, thank you.
Isaac Camacho, longtime resident here of Baldwin Park. First of all, congratulations. That's a very high honor that you got.
Thank you.
It's not to be taken lightly. You work hard. Thank you for all your years of service to us in Baldwin Park. Okay, good evening to the citizens of Baldwin Park who are here joining us and the council. Good evening. Okay, I want to talk about your lack of failure to represent our people properly. You know, we do elect you to take your office to serve us. People ask you questions, but yet I don't hear any answers. Are we doing something wrong? I don't think so. Is there a specific agenda or protocol that we have to follow to get a response of our questions? It would be nice if we were told how we can get a response. It's shameful and unjust for any representative to simply disregard the concerns of the residents. And on the 20th of January, Mayor Lozano, you stated the one thing that you learned from your father is that when you come up here and you want to say something, that you should have documentation to prove it. But yet, you know, like, once again, you don't respond to anything. You know, you don't say anything. And as it's been stated before, you just say, okay, people are just your cronies of this and that, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, it doesn't matter if you earn $30,000 a year, $200,000 a year, if you're a CEO or if you're a council member. But you need to recognize that you are a public figure. And as the public figures, you're going to be questioned. And these questions deserve answers. And also, what about all these lawsuits that we're having against the city or against conduct of you guys, or, you know, this is involving the city? You know, what it does, it's utilizing our tax dollars that could be used for better things for the city, better improvements here, street-wise and stuff. But all this money going out, just over these ridiculous lawsuits that, I don't know, are, you know, when, you know, and then are they fueled by your ego? I mean, what is it? But it is time that you recognize as city's representatives that you.
Mr. Camacho, your 3 minutes are up.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, moving on with public communication. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Greg Tuttle, business owner. I want everybody to know that I was served with a restraining order because Ricardo Pacheco fears for his life on me. I have served Chief Taylor, Monica Garcia, and Ricardo Pacheco to appear in court to testify on this because it was done fraudulently, attained a restraining order through a commissioner. Ricardo Pacheco feared for his life all of a sudden after 8 years of me being up here and talking. I started showing his corruption, and all of a sudden now, Manny Lozano, Monica Garcia, and Ricardo Pacheco are feared for their lives. We will have to go to court, spend money, sue the city, like Mr. Camacho's saying, and get back our attorney fees when this is all done. 4 council people went to the Santa Barbara conference, and they are required by law to speak about the conference that they went to. They have not done so. The city pays for this, and we have a right to hear about it. I want to repeat myself that Lozano lied at the last council meeting about the 5-0 vote for firing Mark Castanola. It was a 3-2 vote with Rubio and Baca voting no. Then on the vote for me to be sued, it was not a 5-0 vote. It was a 3-2 vote. So, again, we get lies. I want to thank Pacheco for a lot of things here. I haven't been able to do this. Pacheco gave me the unredacted police report on Sergio Corona, Lozano's friend. Pacheco gave me Benarono's UPS pictures to expose him. Pacheco hired Sid Masavi's employee, Sam Gall, in planning. Sam Gall was taking bribes to rush through permits. When Lozano and Pacheco heard Sam was turned in, they made him resign. and there's no investigation on how much he was taking. Why? Because this is what Pacheco Buddy deal with Sid Masavi. This scam went through the city with no investigation at all. 2 other cities have Sam Gall under investigation. Did our city do an investigation before we hired him? Absolutely not. Buddy deal. Pacheco was censored a few years ago for screaming at Chief Hatzel, and tried to fire her. How do I know that? He called me directly after he yelled and screamed at her and told me what he did and bragged and boasted on it. The new decorum law, Manny, we played this game back in the redevelopment days. You go ahead, you pass anything you want, get it in writing. I'll take it to the DA's office in the Integrity Division, and it'll be repealed, and you'll get a letter back saying, behave yourself, First Amendment rights stand. Thank you.
All right, moving on with public communication. Anyone? Thank you.
Margarita Vargas. I just want to thank you for putting that number 8 here, because my husband asked for it. So in next month it's going to be 4 years that he died. But you know what they say, better late than never. I know that West Covina has the decorum rules, and the only thing that you probably, after you approve it, you need to put it in back of the agenda so everybody can see it. Nobody's saying that you cannot say what you want, but you cannot insult the city council members, or you cannot, say things that you're not supposed to. But I just want to let you know, it works that decorum is for us and it's for you too. You need to respect each other, and you cannot be like screaming at each other, because I've been in so many meetings that I feel ashamed that way that you talk to each other. And so even if you disagree, you need to do it respectfully and thinking and all the citizens of Baldwin Park. My friend Mary, she passed. I was there when she passed. And she worked so hard for the city of Baldwin Park. And like a week before she died, she told me, do it right, Margarita, do it right. And I know she was saying, keep doing what we were doing for our city. So I'm sure I'm going to do it. I don't know for how long, but I want to see this city prosper and move forward and not be dealing with so many little messes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, move along with public communication. Anyone else wishing to speak? All right, at this point, I'd like to close the public communication. Real quick, just want to answer the gentleman that came up here and spoke with the translator, just to let you know the school district has, and they're the ones that they have their own elected officials, so there's 21 schools. What I have stated publicly is that we should utilize green space, meaning open up, and they currently do, but let's open them all up if we can. Now, I hear this thing about drugs. Vast majority of ballpark kids are good, honest kids. And the police department has done an excellent job in moving away. And I don't know, this is like the second time it gets stated. In other words, our kids aren't drug dealers. I mean, certainly we have some that are, but it's not what it was prior to 1992 or 1979. I just want to make that clear, because it seems like it's more like a stereotype of thing that they want to that's being placed on Baldwin Park. Now, we are working with them, and if you're interested as well, once we get going with the talks with them, and hopefully they're optimistic, because I think that those green spaces should be open to every individual in the city of Baldwin Park, regardless of what type of sport it is. And they're definitely going to hopefully meet up with them soon, whether it be all of us together here, to be able to obtain further input as well. So I'm looking forward in that particular area. Something that was mentioned about the general information, just to let everyone know, the code of conduct that we're passing here is no different than the one in West Covina and no different than the other cities. We just haven't really implemented one here in the city of Baldwin Park. The Ballpark School District, before they start their meetings, they will read it off. And no one's going to deny it, no one. I'm glad you brought this up, Margarita, because you had originally brought that to us. It's just the type of language that's being used here that would something you would not want to say in front of youth, but some of these particular individuals, they don't care whether these youth here or not. And that's what we're talking about. But again, they're obviously playing their little propaganda to try and spread misinformation. Has nothing to do. No one can deny. I cannot deny anyone the First Amendment right. But what we are doing is making certain that everyone stays professional and addresses the council in a manner by which is respectful not only for us but for yourself as well. And I just want to make that clear. So that, and I'll have the attorney once I finish get further detail on that. And unfortunately, Mr. Tuttle, who was up there, who was served, and he has a temporary restraining order against him. The city council did vote, and you got it wrong. And again, he's playing games here. There was a 5-0 to go after him for harassment, and there was a 5-0, and that is on the record. When he did come down here about Mr. Castellona, there was a 3. That's the only thing he was correct. It was a 3-2 vote on that. So I just want to make that clear. And I understand, that what he's doing because he's apparently, it's affected him both psychologically and physically because there is a legitimate temporary restraining order against this particular individual. Mr. Luna, I know I address you all the time. And again, I think what you need to do is you really need to research some of the information that you come up here, and obviously you say whatever you want. Again, as I stated to you and the gentleman up there, I made it very clear that excuse me, stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. As I stated before, you could come up here and fabricate any information you want because the Constitution allows you, and he hates when I say that, because the Constitution allows me to go to any city council or any other politician and outright just make up any story about that person. The Constitution allows you that. We, as elected officials, have no recourse. Now, they could go on and say what they have to say about the council members up here. This city has never been investigated by the district attorney's office. And I'll tell you right now, it's not ever going to be in that type of position. But it's unfortunate. This is what individuals do and come up and create. I mean, the city's open for whatever type of data you want to know on each and every one of us, and it's available. It's public access. This is not a city that can be stereotyped in that manner because it's never been under an investigation where you see files being taken out of City Hall by the district attorney's office, let alone the FBI. But I guess you just don't like the fact that the city's clean, and it's going to continue to be clean and run above board, and that's just a reality you're going to have to accept. Because there's 75,000 residents in the city of Baldwin Park, and the vast majority that are here don't represent the 75,000. There's a lot of residents out here that want to hear from each and every one of us, and we're putting whatever information we need and they need to have because it's important. This is what the democracy is all about. You may not like the way the democracy works here. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it works, and we're working in accordance to the Brown Act at all levels as well. So that's the only thing I have to say. Yes, Councilmember, yes.
I mean, I don't know how to say this without violating, because it was closed session items, but, you just stated that there was a 3-2 vote. I have to clarify there was no vote, Mayor.
For which one?
For Mr. Tuttle, there was no vote. And so I said I don't want to violate closed session, but there was no vote. I mean, I know that there was directive to staff to take action, but the vote was not taken. So I just need to clarify.
Let me correct you. There was a motion and a second for us to allow the legal counsel to pursue, and no one said anything.
There was talk. Well, because you gave direction, but there was no vote. We were talking about another case, and I don't want to say without violating.
I think we have to the attorney. Can we
allow her to finish? Allow her to finish.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to. But we were talking about another case, and like I said, I can't say it because it's closed session. But we're talking about another case, and then it jumped into another, the directive, and there was no vote. So I just have to state for the record, I did not vote on that issue. Thank you.
I agree with Councilmember Rubio. There was not a vote. We were jumping from one thing to another very quickly, and there was a 3-2 because at that time we were voting
on another issue.
For another issue. So I'm sorry. There was a confusion. There is a confusion.
All right.
Mayor,
I did not vote.
Hold on, one at a time. Go, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I specifically recall there was a motion, a second, and there were no objections. Now, I think that oftentimes the information is not disclosed to the public, and it's because there has been, some backtracking, but that was clearly what happened.
There was not. Let me just clarify.
I didn't vote for it. I'm 100% sure I didn't vote on it.
Let me just say this, and I'm glad you corrected, Vice Mayor. There was no objections to the actual vote. I did not hear Councilmember Cruz Baca, no Councilmember Susan Rubio object. And when there's objections in closed session, we'll do the roll call. And there was no objection. So it ended up basically 5-0. Unless I heard wrong, but there was no objection. So I stand corrected that there was no vote, but there was no objection to the actual, for us to move, ask Council, I'm going to have him speak on that. It was Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. You know, Mr. Tuttle is a harasser. He has said false things about me and about everybody. Basically, everyone sitting up here at one point or another, he has harassed each and every individual. I have a temporary restraining order against this individual. This individual has continued to escalate to harass me. He followed me out to Santa Barbara, and he was at that other event, and he consistently, excuse me, but I'm speaking. He consistently harasses me, and even the court agreed with me, and they gave me the restraining order against this individual, and that's wrong. He's harassing everybody that's here, and he continues to say false information. He brings things here that aren't even true. He'll just make things up, and he'll say them here, and that's wrong. You can't continue to do that. You can't continue to threaten and harass people. And it's outrageous that after getting his court order, he stands here today and continues to harass me in the way he does. You know, a lot of you talk about the First Amendment rights, and you can't say whatever you want up here. You could say whatever you feel like over there. And it's kind of like the same way. You could go on the freeway and go 100 miles an hour. You're free to do that. You'll get a ticket if you do that. You can come here and talk about anything you want. Suggested you stay with what's on the agenda or any government issue. But when you start to go particular to talk about somebody, an individual council member or staff member, you open yourself up to defamation of character, liability, and those kinds of issues. So I strongly suggest when you come here and you're going to say things, make sure that you know what you're saying and make sure that you know that it's right. Otherwise, you'll find yourself like Mr. Tuttle, who outside of this room in here continues to harass people, and it's wrong. It needs to be stopped, and that's why I filed this restraining order, because he's a harasser. I do fear for my family, and I do fear for my wife and my child, because this individual follows people around outside of here, and that's wrong. Also, when you come up here and speak about issues, you know, somebody spoke about, you know, the Wayne Manor project. Not a project that the city is sponsoring. That's an individual who brought a property and is bringing it forth on his own. The city is not encouraging it, is not telling him to do it, and he's just following, you know, the state laws. Unfortunately, allow that kind of a use, and we in the city are looking at it as an application, just like we would every other application, and we're taking a look at it. The school district has also another avenue that they could look at and try to stop this project, because they're the school, they're the entity that it impacts, and they should also come up here and talk more from their level as a school district to try to stop that project if they think that it's a threat to their facilities, to bring it up to a state level to try to address those issues. Okay, Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes,
Mayor, one moment, please.
Cruz Baca.
I think, and I know that we will get to number 8 to discuss, but I believe that up here on the dais, and I really appreciate Margarita Vargas getting up here and also stating that. And I remember when Mr. Vargas, because I used to come to all the council meetings then, and I remember you were having the same problems. But I also feel that Ricardo Pacheco has also not only name called to me and to me especially, and has referred to me many times as a corrupt politician and a dirty politician recently. I believe that we need to follow that decorum or order as well, because we are not respecting ourselves up here. I have stated that to Mr. Pacheco, and I will continue doing that I do not appreciate the way he treats some of the council members, including Councilmember Rubio up here, interrupting when we're trying to state something, like it happened earlier today again, and he has to be told to please let us speak. I think that we, as well as council members and as elected officials, we are all equal up here. Nobody votes more than someone else, and I think that you owe us that respect. Thank you.
Council member? No, I'm sorry. I know your campaign manager is applauding you because you work in tandem with him to do a lot of the things that you do that are wrong. I don't know, let Susan speak for herself. If she feels that there's some, you know, we talk today. I mean, she doesn't fear me. We discuss issues all the time. I know you and I disagree a lot. It's not that I'm offending you. It's just that you and I have a lot of disagreements. And when I disagree with you, you look at it like somehow that's harassment, and it's not. It's political disagreement. The only time I ever talk to you is either in closed session or in here where we have communications and nowhere else. And so the public has an opportunity to view me and how I behave with you and statements that I make about you, but in no way do I ever harass you, either in here or in closed session. There's always people around us, and these issues that you're bringing up now are here because I filed a temporary restraining order against your campaign manager, and I think now you're politically retaliating. Thank you, Mayor.
I'm sorry,
thank you very
Mayor.
much.
I don't mean
Yes.
to take up any more time, but
Okay.
these allegations are totally false. I went ahead and made it clear the way you are treating me in particular on this dais, because you have. And February the 17th, you proceeded to call me names because I did not agree with you or because I questioned you. I won't take up any more time, but if anybody would like to listen to any that goes on, please listen to some of the audio of the past council meetings. Don't take my word for it. It's on the audio the way he treats us. Thank you.
All
Mayor.
right, yes, Councilmember, Vice Mayor Monica Garcia.
Thank you. I just wanted to address some of the comments that were made earlier about us not listening to our community. I listen to our community. I listen to the comments that are spoken here. And, what it comes down to is that we just agree to disagree, and we have to do that respectfully. I will often state my position on some of these big projects. You'll hear my reasoning on why I support something or why I oppose something. And it's not to say that I haven't heard you, but for the reasons that I've stated, that's why I believe in the position that I've taken. And so to give an example, the development across the street, this is something that I think would be a positive economic development opportunity for our downtown area. Just like I thought the transit center would be. We received opposition there, but it's been a great project. We have a lot more parking. We have parking to support the downtown, Metrolink, and some future opportunities. Same thing with the Rome. With the Rome project, we've received opposition, but we moved forward with that, and I think it's going to be a really nice addition for our downtown. So, I just want to state that if we disagree, it doesn't, I think that there has to be some level of a tolerance in this room, and it has to be a tolerance for each other's views. And I will often acknowledge the community's point of view, regardless of where it's at. And then again, I will state why I support or oppose something. Now, as far as the comment that was made regarding demographics, I agree that when it comes to census, demographics, that information is readily available, and all we need to do is look online for that information. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking to understand the consumer demographics of our community, and I don't think we've really looked at that closely. We don't know what the consumers of Baldwin Park, why do they go to West Covina? Why do they go to Monrovia? Why do they go to Pasadena? Why do they go all the way to downtown? What services are we not providing for them here in the city of Baldwin Park? And why are we leaking dollars to other cities? Those are dollars that we could obtain here and then recycle back into our economy. So when I talk about demographics, that's what I'm speaking and referring to. Now, as far as the school district, I have, even before when I ran for city council the first time, I couldn't understand why we couldn't have joint use of these wonderful, fields in our city. There's a field in every community, every neighborhood within our city. And it's such an opportunity for our youth. And, all we're asking is for the school district to consider a plan of opening up those fields to the community, to our youth, because it's the taxpayer dollar that really has, renovated the schools across our city. So I think that's where we're coming from. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not going to jam anything down the school district's throat. I mean, they are their own leaders, and they will make their own decision. But I just ask for them to consider, the idea. And I know that there's been concern of liability. That's always been an issue. And so, one thing I've always asked is if other school districts are doing it, then why can't we? So it's a paradigm shift, but I think that where there's a will, there's a way. And if there's not a way, then let us know exactly why. But it's for the community. So, and it goes hand in hand with a lot of the policies that we've been promoting, like complete streets, walkable streets, safe routes to school. Those are initiatives that the city has taken on. And so if we want to encourage our residents to get out and walk and cycle, we just want to partner with the school district on that and make it very holistic. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, just real quick, I just want to also mention that later on I'll be talking about partnership between the city and the school district. And I know some of you spoke against it. I hear a lot of people that are in support of it, especially in the north part of town where there's a lack of parks. In 2010, we sat with the school district through Mayor Lozano and the school district. They worked on a grant to be able to build a park at Olive Middle School.
That's right.
In the back, they were going to do a park with a gymnasium. We got together. We made the agreements that everyone's talking about the fees, how they were going to be split up. It was all detailed together. It got full support of the school district at that time and the city council, and we put the grant forward to do that. And unfortunately, we didn't get the grant at that time, so that project stopped. But in a lot of cities, cities of Montclair and a lot of the cities kind of going east of here in Los Angeles, a lot of cities do these joint partnerships between Park and Recreations, city and the school districts, and there's wonderful. It opens up a lot more space, a lot more parks for people to have open space, and they have park spaces in the school areas instead of having them chained behind closed gates. They're opened up to the public, and everybody could use the playground, and there's just a lot more work together. So we tried to do it before in 2010. And I still think that the school district that I went to their last meeting and talked about at their public communications, that we should work together. And I want to continue to work with that and work with staff and have both staff from the school district and the city to work together to bring some sort of agreement that we can have to open at least some of the schools, if not all of them. We can have some of them. I think there's a real need up on the north end of the school the city, that we could be able to work together cohesively and get grants. There's a lot of grants that are going on. I talked to our grant consultants, and they're moving forward to bring some of these grants together that we can work on. A lot of people can come here and talk about the negative that is going on and just come here and attack council members and staff. But we just did about 5 miles of streets. I don't think we spent something like, $10 million, or how much have we spent on streets?
It'll be about $3 million this fiscal year.
About $3 million this year. Taxpayers' dollars that are going to all of you guys on your streets to improve them. We're going to improve the mediums. We're going to put dry skate because of the water shortage. So we're working on that and have funding to be able to move forward on doing that. So the city is really moving forward, having a lot of good projects. A lot of our parks have been upgraded. A lot of our parks, all 5 of them, have been continuing
Stop interrupting,
to be.
please.
I'm sorry. You can speak on public communications, but don't speak when I'm speaking, sir. There was a lot of parks. We have the 4 or 5 parks that we have all the facilities have been upgraded. Brand new playgrounds, new splash playgrounds. I mean, they're really great facilities. They have a lot of programs in there. And we have one of the best programs. Matter of fact, the state has recognized the City of Baldwin Park's Park and Recreation Program as one of the top awards. I don't know, Manny, can you talk about some of the awards that we got?
Yes, be happy to share with the community some of the awards that we've received. We have been receiving Playful City USA for the past 5 or 6 years, which is a very prestigious award. I believe there's only 140 cities across the United States, so that is a very prestigious award. In addition, we have been recognized at the state level in regards to some of the facilities that we've built, the teen center, the skate park, Barnes Park. We have 3 fitness zones in the city of Baldwin Park. I think that probably equates to more than if you add up all of the cities in San Gabriel Valley. So we are definitely at the cutting edge. Numerous policies, and we've been highlighted in the media on the national level as well as the local level. Thank you.
Thank you. And so you can see that our parks are one of the best in the state. Been recognized. A lot of new improvements that are in there. Our police department is probably one of the best in San Gabriel Valley, and our police chief really works hard to bring grant funds. We have a new mobile unit that they recently bought and purchased, and we're able to bring better equipment to all of our police officers. We also were able to, after many years, sit down with our police officers and give them a good package, a good benefit for for the association, and to keep a lot of our police officers. We gave them probably one of the best affordable negotiated contracts that they've gotten in many years. So there's a lot of great things in Baldwin Park. I mean, our city's really moving forward. It's really just doing such a great job. And, like I said, we could have the naysayers that can come here and talk all they want. But, unless if you don't live in the city, you probably just won't see all this stuff that's going on here in the community. But if you don't drive around and look at the new streets and look at the new parks, then I guess you could be negative and say all the bad things that you want about our community. We have, 4.5 million in reserves. So we're doing good financially, and we're doing a great job. So I think our council is moving in the right direction. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and go into a consent calendar, and I'll pull item number 8. Yes.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I would like to pull item number 3 for discussion, and I'd also 7 and 12.
Okay. 12?
Yes, 12.
Oh, got it. Wait a minute. 12. But that's not part of the consent calendar. All right. At this point, council members wishing to pull any other items? If not, I'll make a motion to pass the consent calendar with the exception of items number 3, 7, and 8. There's a second.
Well, Mayor,
12 and 12.
Just for clarification, I want just a little bit for Dan to explain the item number 6, please.
12 is not part of the consent calendar. It goes only up to 9. Okay, so at this point, I'll make a motion.
Can you repeat again what got pulled?
Yeah, the way item number 3, 7, and 8.
And 6.
And 6?
Yes.
Oh, you want 6? Okay.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, second. Any objections? See none, so move. All right, the first one, which is the item number 3, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park ordering a designation of executive team as a business improvement advisory committee to make recommendations on matters related to citywide business improvement. Councilmember Cruz Baca.
I would like just a little bit of clarification. I'm not pro or against it. I just need some clarification as to what exactly are the decisions that are going to be made for the business improvement area.
Right, go
Whoever
yes,
could please
yes,
clarify for me.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and council members. The advisory committee will be formed to comply with the state law and the city ordinances, and the committee will basically look at the things that the city has funded using the business improvement tax over the years, and basically come up with a menu of items and then make some recommendations to the city council. So they will only be recommendations, and the city council will make the final choices on how those monies will be spent. And this is just part of a process that is required by our code and by state law.
All right, I make a motion for us to pass that.
I'll go ahead. It's been seconded by Councilman Ricardo Pacheco. Any objections? See none, so move. Item number 6, requested by Councilman Susan Rubio, approve resolution number 2016, establishing underground utility district on Baldwin Park Boulevard between Kenmore Avenue and Breezy. Councilmember?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I just would like for Mr. Wall, to just clarify for the public's knowledge. Sometimes they see this and they think it means more taxes, to their homes. And so can you just clarify what that means and what areas are going to be affected? Thank you.
Sure. The California Public Utilities Commission requires Southern California Edison to collect money on every bill from all ratepayers, regardless of the city they're in, to provide funding to underground the electric utilities. Edison collects this money and then divides it up amongst the cities in the state. And currently they have about $2.8 million that's allocated for the city of Baldwin Park. The Utilities Commission has certain guidelines for which areas within a city can be undergrounded. Some of those guidelines include that the area has to have a lot of overhead utilities on it and has to be on a heavily traveled street. Working with the Edison planners, we identified Baldwin Park Boulevard between Kenmore and Breezy Avenue as being an area that met this criteria, which had a cost of approximately $3 million to do the undergrounding. The Indigo development, which is being built there, that developer has committed, actually already paid the city $200,000 to go toward undergrounding as well. And so that money would also be coupled with the $2.8 million from Edison to complete this project.
Thank you. That clarifies it. Thank you very much. I'll make a motion to pass this.
I'll second.
Second. Any objections? Seen none.
And Mayor, just for discussion,
Yes, go ahead.
again, I just want to state this is great for ballpark, $2.8 million to start to put underground our utilities that are out there. I think it's a great asset for our city to have. Now, how often do we get funding? I know it was very small the last few years, but now $2.8 million is quite a large amount of funding.
Councilman Pacheco, the money is aggregated every year, and when there's enough money to do a project, that's when we'll go forward with a project. So each year, based on rates, and it's about $150,000 a year Edison puts aside for the city. And when enough money has been collected for a project, that's when we go forward with a project.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
All righty, thank you very much. At this point, we'll go to item number 7, requested by Councilman Cruz Baca, which is approve a contract with Greenleaf Events, Inc. To provide a certified farmers market and street fair. Yes, Councilmember?
I would like for this to be brought up to probably the April. I know that they want to do April 7th, but I still have a lot of questions in regards to how it will affect our businesses, as well as some of the vendors that we had coming to our street fair for the last couple years, and also the concerts at the park. There's a lot of questions that I have as to how that's going to affect our community. I think it's a great idea. I love going to the one in Monrovia and even Covina. However, there's too many questions that I have.
Can I add to that? I'm sorry, because I was going to pull that item as well. Only because I remember years ago I was trying to get it mobilized, and I know most of the council members were as well. But I remember, Manny, if you can clarify this for us, we had attempted to do that in the past, but our community just wasn't supportive of so many together. And so when you want to have something that's successful, you have to do it in small increments to get people excited. But I know we tried it once before, and I'm very supportive. I've worked in Monrovia nearly 2 decades myself, and I was there when it started, and that's exactly why I wanted to bring it here. But it's a totally different demographic, and I know personally by being in Monrovia that it took them a long time also to get going. And if you think of the community, it's a little bit more affluent. So I also would like to maybe have a discussion about a shorter period of time. We don't want to do too much where you get, the public disillusioned and they stop coming and it's not a success. So I would like to also consider maybe less time and see how it works and just have all those questions answered as well. And Mr. Carrillo, can you clarify about trying to bring it back several years back and why it wasn't successful?
Well, from my memory, approximately 15 years ago, back in early 2000, we had a firm. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the firm. They were called 11th Hour Production, and they administered our street market for about 3 or 4 years, and it wasn't very successful. From my memory, it turned into a little bit more of a swamp meet type of style, and we were really never able to secure the vendors in regards to the produce. So this one is a little different. It is going to be a certified farmers market, so that should be very interesting for the community. But for whatever reason, 15 years ago, it did not work. We were trying to have a year-round program, and it probably lasted about 12 weeks approximately.
Thank you. And just for clarification, of course, like I said, I remember all the council members at the time, we've all been pushing for it, but we wanted to be successful, and that's my only concern. I'm not sure that having it that many months it will be successful. So again, I would like to consider maybe a shorter period of time just to make sure people understand it's here and just to see how it works before we move forward into a longer period of time. But I'll second the motion to bring it back until we can study the issue a little bit more and see how it affects our businesses. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, there's more. Yeah, Councilman.
I just wanted for discussion. Is 6 months something that's within reason?
Well, the problem is that I need to look at this. 2 years ago, when we first started the street fair, there was a lot of controversy amongst us council members, whether we wanted it or not. So, and then it became very successful. Last year's was overwhelming. At some point, we had over 4,000 people there. So I want to be sure that a shorter period of time, but also to take a look at how is this going to impact our community as well. Is it going to be something that's going to service our community, and maybe go ahead and not hurt the street fair that we originally have scheduled from August till October? Is it, Manny?
Okay, well, let me just. This is a part of the the presentation we just saw. It integrated the street fair. Aren't they going to be running the street fair with this program?
It'll be after, because this program only goes until July, correct?
Actually, the proposal you have in front of you will commence, if council should approve it, April through the end of December. It would be an 8-month. The vendor is proposing an 8-month trial period. The agreement you have in front of you, I believe, is for 24 months with 2 additional years. The city council and our staff can extend it.
Okay, but this is also bringing revenue to the city because they're going to run the whole program. And
yes, they would run the entire program. They would close down the streets. They would hire Baldwin Park Police Department to provide security and everything else.
And if I could add, it would not only bring in revenue to the city, but it will save the city $48,000 because that's what it cost us to put on the street fair last year.
Okay, so this cannot be a part of the street fair and let them run the street fair, because that would save us from doing the street fair and let them.
Actually, the proposal you have in front of you, they would administer all elements of the street fair. They're proposing to have a certified farmers market downtown street fair from April through end of July, first week of August at Morgan Park to complement the Concerts in the Park series. When the concert series concludes, then they would transition over to Main Street, very similar to what we had last year. The only difference is theirs is going to be much longer. They're proposing 8 months versus our 6 weeks of last year.
If I could add real quick to that, excuse me. I think you'll see exactly the same thing that we had with the street fair the last 2 years, except for you're going to have the certified farmers market added onto it.
That'd be great.
I guess my concern is how long, council ladies, would you hold on? I mean, do you want 1 meeting to hold it back or 2 meetings? How long would it take you to do your evaluation?
Oh, you mean like when would we bring it back to the in April, which is just a month away, 4 weeks away. So that we can.
You want to bring it back the first week?
The first council meeting in April.
You bring it back.
Yes,
okay.
I know that they want.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right.
That's fine.
I know that they wanted to start April 7th, according to the presentation that they gave us. But I think that we need to be on the same page in order. I know it is, and I think it's great that it's saving the city the $48,000 because of staff and so forth, and for them to do the legwork and everything else that they'll be doing. And I think it's great. I mean, I'm a fan of, like I said, of the farmers market in Monrovia. However, there's some questions. We need to be specific, and also it's too long of a time, and we may be hitting inclement weather.
Let me just ask real quick. I'll ask a question to the gentleman. I'm just wondering, will you lose vendors? Because I assume you guys probably... Yeah, I think this would be an opportunity for us to really, like, when residents, as you kicked off the street fair, everyone liked it. So, and it was like when it was ending, oh, it's too bad it's not going to continue. But then maybe it's an opportunity to have them, because it's going to literally put the pressure on them to bring these farmers, the farmers market here, right? So in other words, I don't know, I'd like to kick it off in April, and then kind of in between that, if we see something we want to change out, we could probably talk to them.
Mayor,
I just don't want to lose that opportunity.
and I agree with you, but my fear is that, like all these vendors come, all these, farmers market, and then we don't have the clientele. So I'm afraid they're just going to come a few times and run. But also, as a teacher, I can tell you I have a concern. We're having them Thursday nights. I would like to see maybe after school is over in June, because then you have, kids going to school and families. So we might not get that crowd that we're expecting, but if we started maybe after June, June is when the kids are off, then you'd have whole families coming in. You know what I mean? We just want to make sure it's really successful, and the vendors continue to come and not be discouraged because they're not making the money they make in Monrovia. So my only concern is that long period of time, if we can narrow it down to maybe a little shorter time. So again, to see how it works and see what we need to tweak and that kind of stuff, I would be in favor of that, but
Mayor,
that was my concern.
I think the risk is theirs if they don't have, it's not our loss, it'll be theirs if they don't have the the amount of support they need to have to run that fair. That's how I would put it on them. But also, I would let them try it out. If you want to shorten the.
Can you ask Preston Vance just to see what their opinion is? I'm not sure because we don't do the work. I just want to see how it, because you guys know the logistics and how it would affect the other programs. Can you share what your thoughts are on that?
Well, I think in general having the farmers market would benefit the concerts in the parks. If you're asking my personal opinion, I think it is a great service that they're going to provide to the community. No charge to the city of Baldwin Park. We would generate 10% off the gross receipts. If I had a concern in regards to the farmers market, I am not 100% sure the City of Baldwin Park's residents could support a 8-month farmers market. I think we had ours last year, 6 weeks. It was strong and very, very powerful and very popular. I would probably lean a little bit, maybe starting in June all the way through the end of the year as a trial period. That will be 6 months. If there's an issue in regards to having the certified vendors, maybe for the first few weeks we do not have the certified vendors, and maybe the first week of July, and then we could kick off with the concerts after 4th of July. We could really promote it. We can have the farmers show up, but it's.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. I agree, and that's to incorporate it with the concerts in the park, because that makes sense. Where the people are coming out, school's out, families are looking for something to do, and then especially after the 4th of July.
Yes.
That's like a big
All right,
deal.
so at this point, so we get out here before 1 a.m. in the morning. Just agree upon then. Is that going to be a big? Can you come up to the mic? You can introduce yourself for the audience, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jerry Diaz of Green Eve Events. We operate the Monrovia Farmers Market and other farmers markets. I do respect your decision to want to start in June. As I mentioned, permits for health permits are quarterly, so they would have to purchase 3 months worth of permits for 1 month of June. There are 2 other farmers markets that are not mine. They will be beginning. I know they reached out to us and we weren't available. We held Thursday nights for Baldwin Park, that they want to start on a Thursday evening with another company. I might not be able to regain the consciousness of some of the farmers if they choose to go with another city.
Can I ask you, with the farmers market, are these local vendors? Is this locally grown produce?
Yes, it's locally grown produce. One of my biggest producers, it comes out of the Chino Hills area, and they would be one of the ones out here.
So maybe what we can do is, if you're okay with this, Manny, is have like an Earth Day farmers market kickoff, because we're encouraging, locally grown, better for the, environment, and maybe we can bring in that connection and create something.
Yes, we are planning an Earth Day, but keep in mind that event would be a one-day event. So I think it would be different. Ours is on a Saturday, and right now the farmers market that we're proposing is on Thursdays.
But maybe it could be a week of, kind of Earth Day concepts, and I think maybe it could work into April. And then when does the summer concert?
The concerts will start at the end of June.
The end of
June 27th.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Just in terms of how you operate, can you talk a little bit about your employees? I mean, is there any way we can encourage you to hire local, our local, I know we have a lot of kids that are looking for jobs, and we even have a teen program, jobs program. Is there any way you can consider maybe incorporating some of our residents?
Yes, we're actually developing a system right now with the city of Monrovia to incorporate some of the youth groups for both volunteers and paid staff. We do have paid staff, but with Greenleaf Events on the proposal you see as well, we're also at the end of the year or at the end of our fiscal year, we're giving back from Baldwin Park's income, we'll be giving back to youth groups in the city of Baldwin Park as well.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Let me just say real quick. Hold on. You guys bring me these avocados?
I did not bring you that avocado.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a motion that we start on April as set forth. And you're a Baldwin Park resident, give you an opportunity, entrepreneur, because the pressure is going to be on you, right? The performance is going to be
correct.
Who you bring in here. So I'm going to make a motion for
second.
Well, there's already a motion. Second. Oh, there's already a motion. No motion. Okay. Councilmember Cruz Baca, and it's been seconded.
No, but it was to start at a later
time. Oh no. Okay.
Okay. Did you?
Okay. All right.
Did you want to?
Do you want to drop
motion?
it? Okay. There's a motion. I object.
Right,
So, Madam City Clerk, at this point, this is to object to Councilman Cruz Baca to start it when?
April 7th.
April 7th.
I wanted to hold it over.
To pull it to April 7th, and I'm objecting. So, Madam City Clerk, at this point.
Councilmember Cruz Baca?
About this.
No.
Councilmember Susan Rubio?
Susan Rubio?
You know what? I just don't think we have enough time to pull it together in 1 month. Think of all everything, the planning that goes into it.
It's going to be on him. Okay.
Can you
He's
just wait a
responsible.
little bit? Is there any way you can talk to the vendors?
Hold on, the motion. Let's go to the motion.
Just real quick, because I've always believed it, and we've been trying so hard to get it here, and I'm just afraid that if the reputation is like, don't go to Baldwin Park, it's dead down there, then we lose out on having that crowd for our concerts and our own street fair, and that's my fear. You know what I mean? That I know they're saying it's on you, but what if it doesn't work? Then the reputation is, don't go to Baldwin Parks, it's dead, and that's my concern. Is there any way we can work with the vendors to maybe wait a month more in May?
I can't promise that the vendors will continue to wait with me for an additional month. If they have given the opportunity for another farmer's market, I know Whittier is planning a Thursday night market as well to take place in April, May. If they get the contract before Baldwin Park agrees to this, I can't promise that I'll have the same farmers.
Okay. So what's the motion?
All right. The motion at this point to bring it back on April the 7th. That's the motion.
No, my motion was to
Table.
to table it and move it to June.
June. Okay. So that's the motion. She voted.
Let me clarify. Originally, Ms. Baca, you made a motion to bring
it back for.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's what we're doing the vote on. Right?
All right.
Okay. All right. So at this point, and I object. There was one objection. So at this point, the roll call.
Okay. Councilmember Cruz Baca?
This is so that we can bring it back
Right.
at a later
Yes.
time?
Bring it back in April.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Susan Rubio?
I'll just agree on the April date. I'm confused as to how the motion was.
Yes or no? Yeah.
What are we
It's
voting
yes
on?
to bring it back.
Bring it back in April.
April.
To bring the item
What,
back.
one more council meeting?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Bring the
Yes.
item back.
All
Yes.
right. So that's go
Mayor
ahead.
Manuel Lozano?
No.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia?
Okay, so the motion fails 3-2. So at this point, the motion is to start it on the set forth date that we have here, which is what?
April 7th.
April 7th, and that is my
No,
motion.
second. Go ahead.
That is my motion.
Okay.
Second.
Hello?
Monica did.
Okay.
Either way.
Second? Okay. Any objections? No objections?
So moved.
Okay, let's go for it. Farmers Market. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Council.
May I clarify, Mr. Mayor? I think the agreement calls for a 2-year agreement, and I heard some other times. Are you agreeing to the 2-year agreement, or is your motion for a different time?
You know what? Let's do because let's just do the 2-year because we could always pull out if we wanted to. Am I correct? Or the pressure is going to be on them. I mean, they're the ones that are going to perform. Okay, fine, got it. Thank you very much. Looking forward, you guys. All right, thank you. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go over to item number 8, which is the first reading and introduction of the ordinance number 1384, an amendment to the city's municipal code relating to rules of decorum at council meetings. Just to let everyone know, this is in no way or form going to prohibit anyone from coming up here and expressing themselves. What we are adopting is what the city of West Covina, El Monte, all these cities around us have an actual formal decorum. The Ballpark Unified School District has one as well. They read it off right before they start their meeting. Not certainly the water agency has one. Valley County Water District, Margarita. Okay, you don't. All right, they don't need it. Okay, that's confidence. That's confidence. So that's all we did. No one can deny no one the First Amendment right to say whatever they want to say up here. It's going to continue on. That's just the reality, and I love it. All right, so at this point,
well, Mayor, let me just point out there are. You need to address. You can say whatever you want.
It's the languages.
Like I said, you could speed 100 miles down the freeway. You get a ticket for it. You can say anything you want here on government issues. That's advisable. But when you start to go down the line and say something about individual council members, for example, if you say they have some sort of a criminal background and they don't, then that you can be sued for. And there's been a lot of cases on those types of lawsuits against government officials and staff members. I just wanted to, you can say what you want, but it's on you. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Yes, Councilmember.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I want for us to be, as council members and elected officials, and you, Mayor, for us to follow the same policy.
Okay. All right.
We do. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Okay. So at this point, council members, if not, I'm going to move for the actual passing of this item. Okay. Yeah, the first reading. Excuse me. This is the first reading. So that is my motion. It's been second. Any objections? See none. So move. All right. Thank you. At this point, we're going to go into the public hearing. Do we have a lot of CDBG guests here tonight?
Mayor, I'm sorry. Did you do item 9?
Oh, 9. Sorry about that. No. I didn't pull item 9.
That wasn't pulled.
All right. So public hearing, item 10, which is the public hearing regarding fiscal year 2016-17 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and the Home Investment Partnership and Fund Annual Action Plan.
Mayor, can we move this item to the next meeting?
Is there a deadline?
The public, we can move it, but the public hearing does have to be open.
Yeah, we'll just, but go ahead and cover it, and then we're not going to decide tonight anyways. So
would you like to just
let me open up the public hearing for anyone wishing to speak that participates in the actual block grant. This is the opportunity to come up and speak regarding your organization.
Sorry.
Okay, anyone interested? Yes. Okay, we have Dr. Flores, Azusa Pacific professor, and also our pastor and Church of Redeemer.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor,
Good evening.
Council, appreciate the opportunity to present on behalf of Church of the Redeemer, where I've been the pastor nearly 8 years, assuming the leadership from my father, who was founder for 47 years.
That's right.
We have a long-standing food bank that we've been serving the citizens and community of Baldwin Park for many, many years. Started with a dear sister named Ruth Davila, and we've continued that under the leadership of a lot of volunteer help from the community as well too. So I just passed out my PowerPoint notes, which I could put up here as well too, but you have them in front of you as well too. So just to kind of highlight the thankfulness we have for being part of the grant many, many years, and the fact that even though due to the overall, I think everybody was cut a little bit of percentage, that we were able still to pull off a lot of the need and supply the need that was given to us as well too. We were well established in the city. We've been in the city for a very long time. We have very large distribution days once a month, but we also distribute food every day of the week based off of need as well too. Definitely invite all of you to come on the last Saturday of this month, which is March, which is during the Easter weekend. We do a community event for our children, Easter egg hunt, things like that as well too, and then also have our food distribution, including clothes and other items as well too. So I just want to encourage you to consider the recommendations by the Joint Commissioners to consider that. I think the consideration is $8,000. which is similar to last year. But if there's any way to consider giving that back to 10,000 like we used to be, that would be greatly appreciated. And I want to just thank some of you for your own personal donations toward that project as well too. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, anyone else wish to speak under CDBG program? Oh, that's interesting. We don't have. Wow. Okay. All right. So I guess we don't have the other organizations that are listed here. Do we have? Oh, yeah. Did you? Yeah. Yes. Yes. From St. John. Yes.
Good evening, City Council members and Mayor Lozano.
Yes. Good evening.
My name is Michael Ward with St. John the Baptist Social Services. You've been kind enough to fund the parenting and violence prevention class for the last several years. We would appreciate it. Main thing was just if you had any questions. I know some of the commissioners had quite interesting questions, so I just wanted to clear up if there was any at this point. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Anyone else wishing to speak? If you have your organization, because this is going to be the only time that we're going to have the public hearing for this. See no further interest in the public hearing of the CDBG grant money. I will now declare it closed, and then we'll make the decisions. The first, actually, at the second meeting. Am I correct? That's when it's coming back, Susan, for us to make the distribution of the funds.
Yes, if you'd like to hold it, then it will be continued till the 17th.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's bring it back. Then we'll go ahead and
Mayor,
do that. Yes.
I just would like, I know that the public hearing is closed, but I would like to hear from Chief, if you can pass this message along. I know Cynthia was talking about the increase of women needing domestic violence services. Just a report so we're aware where they're at. I know that there's cases that, it's increased tremendously. So can you give us a little bit of a report on that? Also, Mr. Wah, if you can also update us on the graffiti. I know that, there's been a little spike, and so I want to make sure that we have data where we can see where the need is. So if you can both bring that to the next meeting, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Mayor, I
Yes.
just want to thank the organizations that help this community. The Church of the Redeemer, Pastor Flores and his staff had a wonderful, very successful job fair a few months ago. Thank you very much for putting that together. I attended, and boy, it was a lot of people. And thank you, of course, very much to St. John's that reaches out to so many people, not only with the food bank that they have, but also with a lot of the parenting, citizenship classes, everything that they offer to our community. And the other organizations as well. I don't know if anyone else is here, but thank you so very much. Of course, Public Works for the graffiti crew and the domestic violence on behalf of the police department that really reaches out to our community. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. All righty. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and move over to the next item that we have on here. We're going to move this over, the reports of officers, approval of the rest of it. Item 11, we're going to move over to the following meeting. Okay? And been second, any objections? Seen none, so move. Item number 12, consideration of consultant services agreement with the Cosmo Company. All righty, so at this point, does anyone have any questions? Yeah. All right. We'll go ahead and move that.
I'll second.
The second, any objections? Seen none, so move. All right. At this point,
excuse me. I have a request.
Sure.
Are we done with the officers' reports? Number one, I would like for staff to bring a resolution to the city, a resolution to boycott El Super because of unfair.
It's under the agenda.
Pardon me?
It's part of the agenda.
Oh.
It's on the agenda, yes. It's okay. Go ahead.
There was an item, Councilmember Baca, there was an item added after the agenda was printed, and in order to save paper, it was on the online version, and it was a request by Councilmember Rubio for a resolution as it relates to El Super.
Okay, sorry, I did not see the online version of that. I apologize for that.
I know, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say some trees. I don't want to have a reprint.
No, that's fine. And also, I have a question in regards to an initiative that I believe several months ago, Councilmember Pacheco had brought up in regards to bringing to the people to vote upon the event that there would be a decision whether we would bring in another law enforcement agency instead of our police department. I want to know where that stands and if we have a chance to put it in the November ballot.
Want staff to look at that?
Yes, and to add it probably to the next meeting, if you please. The initiative for, I don't know how you're going to word that, but you know how to do that.
I think to resolve, we put that in in the form of an ordinance, I think. That's how we resolved it the last time.
Yeah, that's what we did. Well, we never placed it in the actual ordinance.
Correct, but we need to do an ordinance, but I would also like to see if we could put it on the ballot for November for the people to vote. November
No,
election?
she's talking about the general election in November. Yeah. the general.
Yes.
Well, do we have, is there time? I don't know what the time elements are.
So if you could, Robert, and just let me know
Look
how
into
to,
that.
what happened with that?
Sure. Alrighty. Okay, so at this point, anyone else wishing to say any of the other? What I
there's
do
one
want to say,
item.
I just want to, Manny, has the now gone out yet, or is it still on hold?
It will be mailed to the residents at the end of May. So we're
Can we
going.
still add something?
It depends.
Well, you know what? What I want to do, the front page, because Irwindale's getting ready to start that whole the MRF, and that's to the Athens company. So I adamantly, and I think this council has made it very clear, adamantly oppose that. And I want that in the front page, that the city's going to oppose any type of toxic chemical company, trying to move right next door to the homes up here in the northern section. So I want that on there. So let's put that. Let's please place that on there, because we. Can I share about the legal counsel?
Mayor,
Okay. All right. So I just want to say, because we've given direction for the previous legal counsel that we had that challenged the EIR that they had the previous time again. And that's something that we definitely want to make sure that all the residents are very well aware of. Okay? All right, thank you. All right, so at this point, council members have anything else they wish to share? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Mayor, can I see his agenda? Mayor, yes, on the agenda, as I spoke earlier on this topic, I requested that I would like to discuss and give staff direction in regards to open green space at the schools, that staff meet with the school district officials and discuss possible funding and grants for improvements such as playgrounds, walk paths, and exercise equipment at all of middle school. And again, just because of in 2010, we worked together with the school district to put together a plan to get a grant at all of middle school. And I think that we should continue to talk about that plan and talk about the agreement that we have, because it's already written. And I would suggest that staff go back and contact the superintendent of schools and see if there's something we could do with current grants. I know that our grant writer for Parks and Recreation says that there are grants available that we could use to be able to make a partnership with with the school district and the city of Baldwin Park, and make a partnership to be able to continue to move forward with that grant, possibly do something.
There.
And if we could just move in that direction and have staff look at that, I'd appreciate it. And possibly look at other possible schools that in strategic locations, especially on the northern part of the city, that we could look at more parks that we could work together on and open more playgrounds for the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any? Yes, Councilmember.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'm so sorry, Councilmember Cruzback. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm just so orderly. No. It's okay. I'm so sorry, but thank you for that support as well. I just wanted to ask my council colleagues, see if we can pass a resolution in support of its super workers, just like Council Member Baca had stated. I mean, I'm always in the business of, supporting our business and making sure that, they thrive. But the Nation Labor Relations Board has found them guilty of so many violations, mainly wage theft. And of course, I want to discourage anybody from taking advantage of any of our families, and that's mainly what's happening. Our families can't afford health insurance, and again, just wage theft alone, they can't afford to live. And so we really want to support livable wages and make sure that they know that we're not in support of them stealing wages. And that's something that I would like to consider, if you guys would support me in passing a resolution. I've already heard from Cruz Baca, so I want to see if we could support them. And they're also having some demonstrations, so I want to encourage everyone to join them on 316 to 320. That's the first demonstration here in Baldwin Park. The second one is from April 7th to April 10th. So if anybody can join them, that would be great. Thank you so much.
And I'd like to also add that along with a living wage, it's also some of the conditions, them not being able to take sick leave. If they call in sick, they are told don't come in at all.
Oh.
It's basically the same problems that they had or have had with Walmart, and so we were there showing support the night before Thanksgiving, and we will continue doing that. I see Sylvia Carranza, a good friend there from UCFW. Thank you very much, Sylvia, for being there for all our working people. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I've spoken to some of the workers at El Super. I know that a lot of them are suffering greatly from the mistreatment that they have, from that corporation. I think that, I support business, but I also support that a business respects the worker and don't mistreat them, don't take away their wages, make sure that they follow the law and that they're treated fairly. And, I don't support corporations that are going to mistreat the workers. So I think we need, at this point, take a stand, let the corporations know that they need to respect the worker, they need to make sure that they're treated properly. And so, is this going to be brought forth in the form of an agenda
Resolution.
item?
Yes,
Resolution.
For the next
absolutely.
meeting. Okay, absolutely.
She said, well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so at this point, council members have anything else? If not, I will go ahead and move for adjournment.
Second.
Any objections? See none, so move. Viva Baldwin Park. Good evening.
Like Donald Trump. Okay.